Hi guys, I'm Lynn Shaw of Two Girls and a Book, and I am here with you today to share my top reads from 2020 as well as a giveaway of my absolute favorite book from 2020. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video to find out what that book is and how you can win a copy of it yourself. Without further ado, let's dive right in to our top reads from 2020. My first category is favorite series from a new to me author. Heather Karn has been around for quite some time. She has a lot of self-published books. She is a fantastic author. I've had the pleasure of meeting her a few times, and I own several of her books, but 2020 is the first time that I sat down and actually dove into one of her series. And the series that I read from Heather Karn is the First Blood trilogy. I gotta say, I don't know what I was waiting for, why I hadn't read this author sooner. She is absolutely fantastic. I devoured the first book in this series, First Blood, in one night. It was amazing, very suspenseful. It kept me glued to my Kindle from start to finish. And the series just turned into so much more than I ever anticipated that it was going to be. I absolutely loved it, and I was so glad that I waited to start it once the series was completed, because I don't think I could have waited for the author to spit these out fast enough for me. Great series. Highly recommend it. It's the First Blood trilogy by Heather Karn. It's available on Amazon, and you can read it for free in Kindle Unlimited. Moving right along to my next topic, it is my favorite serial. And this is a 7-part novella series. It's from one of my favorite authors, Amy Ritchie. The 7th book has recently released, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I knew it was coming, but I wasn't aware that it had released on Amazon yet. You can get the entire series on Amazon, and you can read it for free in Kindle Unlimited. The seven-part novella series follows main character Avery Lewis. She is a teenager who was murdered one night after attending a high school party. Her ghost comes back, and it's her goal to figure out who murdered her and why. And through this series, Avery sort of kind of gets to reevaluate her life and what kind of a person she was. And she realizes that she really wasn't necessarily that great of a person. She bullied people. She teased people. She kind of just did things for the status of it. So it's a really nice look at Avery kind of reevaluating her life and herself as a person, as well as trying to figure out who murdered her and why. And let me tell you, every time I think I have narrowed the suspect pool and I've got an inkling of who it was, the author throws in another monkey wrench, and I am left wondering yet again who the killer is. So I can't wait to dive into the 7th and final novella and find out who done it. There will be a blog over on twogirlsandabook.com featuring all 7 books in the series as soon as I have read it. So stay tuned for more information on that as well. Now, of course, we cannot have a top reads of any sort without including something from the amazingly talented queen of all horror, Kelly Martin. You guys, if you follow the channel at all, you know I absolutely love some Kelly Martin. She is one of my all-time favorite authors, and I will one-click whatever her name is on. It doesn't matter what it is. Mostly it's her. So what Rachel did is her very first middle grade horror. And if you guys haven't read this yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. What Rachel did is the Amityville Horror Story for 12-year-olds. It is fantastic. It left me feeling very haunted and slack-jawed at the end of it, and I think this is gonna be a classic gruesome ghost story for years and years to come. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It is available from Kelly Martin. It was a wide release, and you can purchase it from Amazon, from Barnes& and Nobles, any of the major retailers, or you can go to her publisher's website, monsterivypublishing.com, and you can purchase the book from there as well. So make sure you check that out. It's an amazing book from Kelly. Can't have a fantastic reads list without having Kelly on there, of course. Whoops. Now, my favorite YA book from 2020 is also a new to me author. And let me clarify that just a little bit, because the author writes under multiple pen names. I have read previous books and done previous reviews here on my channel from Jo Cassidy. And Sarah Jo Clough is Jo Cassidy. They're both one and the same. And under the name of Sarah, she writes more YA romance or YA rom-coms. And she came recommended from a friend of mine, Mary Gray. And I hadn't read anything from her Sarah side, only from her Jo side. Try keeping up with that. So I dove into Filler Friend, and I was so pleasantly surprised by this book. From the very first page, I felt like I was back in high school, feeling just as awkward as ever. I loved seeing how the main character, Eleanor, how she grew as a person, how she tried to overcome traumatic things from her past. And it was just such a feel-good coming-of-age story about friendship, kind of finding yourself, figuring out who you want to be, and ultimately just accepting yourself and accepting those around you as well. It really was a surprise read for me. I enjoyed it a ton, and I went back and got an art copy of the author Sarah Jo Clough's upcoming release adaptation of Bet, and it's coming out on February the 2nd. You guys are going to love that one as well. It's actually a YA rom-com, and I loved it. It was so funny and such a great read, and lots of lessons in there. I think you guys are going to love it. So make sure you stay tuned to my channel for more information on that one as well. Now, moving right along, we are almost to the end. We have my favorite audiobook from 2020. If you guys follow, you know, for the pandemic, traveling to and from work, so I was in my car 2 hours a day, so I could easily make it through a full-length novel from Audible in a week. Working from home now, so it's a little bit of a struggle to get in those audiobooks. But I have to say, I had absolutely no trouble whatsoever, absolutely devouring the audiobook from Cameo Renee. It is her new series, Heir of Blood and Fire, Book 1 of the Blood. Holy smokes, guys. This thing was so good. It's produced by the Audio Flow and narrated by Natalie Notas. And if I mispronounced her name, I'm so sorry. But the narrator absolutely slays this story. I was completely immersed in it, and I devoured every word that came through my speakers. It was just a beautiful story. The world that was created was stunning, and it all came through very clear in the audiobook. It was such a good book, and it's such a unique twist on the whole vampire trope. So I highly recommend you guys check out either the book or the audiobook of The Blood by Cameo Renee. Last but not least, what we have all been waiting for is, sorry, waiting on the computer. Yep, what? Nope, nope, it disappeared. Ta-da! My absolute favorite book from 2020. Now, unless you guys were living under a rock, you already knew what the answer to this was going to be. I have gushed about The Girl at the Hanging Tree by Mary Gray for 6 months. I got an ARC back in August. I devoured it. I absolutely loved this story. It is all I have talked about since then. I've recommended it to everyone that I've talked to books about. I gave it as a Christmas present to several of my book nerd friends. I actually own 2 copies of it. I have the paperback as well as the hardcover copy. That is just how much I love this book. The author takes on several hot topic discussions in this book. She deals with mental illness. She deals with racism. She brings the KKK into this book. And those are all just such hot topic items. But she dealt with them in such a dignified manner. And the story is just phenomenal. It's so rare because I read a lot of fantasy and a lot of paranormal. And while those are good and I love them, they're not something that could really happen. They're not something that, you could necessarily foresee taking place in your current time. But this is. You could easily see this happening, right in your own backyard, so to speak. And this book just really spoke to me. I found myself talking about it to just random strangers even, recommending this book to them. So that really says something when a book reaches out and grabs you like that and just holds on to you for it to be 6-7 months later. And I still think about this book all the time. I'm still constantly recommending this book. Cannot say enough great things about it. If you haven't read it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hop over to monsterivypublishing.com. The book is a wide release. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all major retailers, so make sure you check it out over there. Now, what you've all been waiting for, the giveaway. I am going to give away a paperback copy of The Girl at the Hanging Tree by Mary Gray. To enter, you need to do 3 things. That's it. Just 3. First thing I need you to do is give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked it. I need you to click the subscribe button down below for my channel. And then I need you to pop down into the comments and give me a big old hello down below as well, so I know to go in and check to make sure that you've done the first 2 items on the list. I will be picking a winner for a copy of the paperback on January the 15th. The winner will be announced on YouTube as well as Facebook, so make sure you pop back in on January the 15th to see if you are the winner. Cannot wait to share this book with more of you guys. I am very excited for 2021 and all the new fabulous books I'm going to be reading as well. My next video that you guys will see from me is a brand new cover reveal from Kelly Martin. She has a new middle grade horror coming in March, I believe, from Monster Ivy Publishing, so make sure you stay tuned for more information on that. Another great reason to make sure you subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss any of the greatness. You guys have a fabulous week, and I will see you next time.